This is my new me, my new emoji. My niece Hannah taught me to make this. She's 13 going on entry to MIT. The kid is smart. Hey, it's me, Curtis, and welcome to the show. Coming to you from the driver's seat. To my left, somewhere down that fog, is Alcatraz. I'm going to go on that beautiful drive down Lombard Street to open the show. Whenever there's tourists in town, we always take them down this street, right? The crookedest street in the world. And if you look off into the distance, you can see Coit Tower. Well, maybe not with the fog. Love this little crooked road. Always wondered how the people who lived here, how they feel about all of us driving down this street. I love it. Hope you do too. Today's show, I'm going to talk a little bit about leftovers and set up next week's show when I'm going to share with you Mama Latanzio's pasta and beans. It's a beautiful recipe. However, today it's about those gorgeous leftovers. Broccoli is going to be the theme of today's show. I'm going to make for you this incredible broccoli soup, so I hope you enjoy. And I also hope you enjoy my little tours around this gorgeous place, the Boogity Boogity Bay Area. All right, y'all, stay tuned. There's pictures of my niece Cookie and maybe some more shots of the Bay Area. Let's enjoy the drive. Peace, spread love. What is all this stuff? Yeah, I went to the fridge and pulled out all the containers that I had in there. Pinto beans, there's some steak, some roasted peppers. I've got some sauteed chicken, some barbecue chicken. Well, these are barbecue Cornish hens. Then I've got some pesto. What else I've got here? All these things are leftovers. If you throw them away, that's like dumping hard-earned money. Who likes to throw away money? I don't. So let's repurpose them. Let's give them a new meaning on the table. How about, a quick tip. Some things freeze easily, so that's a great way to stretch them out. Like most proteins, like barbecue chicken freezes well, okay? Then when it thaws out, you can pull it away and make like shredded chicken sandwiches or barbecue chicken sandwiches, whatever. Other things like broccoli, they're not so great after they've been frozen. They get a bit rubbery. So what I'm going to do, or how I'm going to repurpose this broccoli today, is we're going to make a broccoli soup. Yeah, you've probably seen me make one before. However, not with steamed broccoli. This is really good. You could also, if you remember the show where I did the broccoli with beef, you can use that, the leftover broccoli or cauliflower, any of your vegetables for that recipe. Today, we're going to make soup because Lisa's not feeling so great today, so my baby needs some soup. And she loves my broccoli soup. So let's get prepped and ready to go. I also have some other stuff here on the table I want to share with you too. These are long beans. And it could make hair out of those for me, right? In the markets, you'll see them as Chinese long beans. However, when I see these, I always think of them as Italian long beans because the first time I had them, Mama Latanzio prepared them for me. I love saying Latanzio. Well, I love saying Mama Latanzio. Vincent Sue, my friends for nearly 40 years. I'll never forget meeting Mama and her husband, Rocco, Big Rocco, back in the day at Vincent Sue's house. And Mama Latanzio made these beans with a wonderful tomato sauce. And I'm going to make the tomato sauce. She shared a recipe. She uses canned tomatoes. I'm going to use some of my tomatoes from 2 seasons ago that I've just, removed the stems, took the core out, and just froze them. There they are. We're going to thaw those out and use them. And so, don't you go away. I'm going to get the kitchen set up. Let's come back, prep, and make broccoli soup. Peace. You know what's next. Spread love. How you feeling back there, baby? All right. The ingredients to make our broccoli, we're not going to call it leftover broccoli soup, broccoli soup, okay? Of course I got broccoli. That's about roughly maybe 3/4 of a pound, might be close to a pound. And then we've got vegetable broth. That's 1 cup, but however I have more broth on the stove top there. H2O, water, just in case we need more. Carrots. I love the way the carrots add a little sweetness to that broccoli soup. Celery. Now I went through the fridge and got some old celery that I had before breaking into the new one. Also this half of onion I'm going to use. Got a whole onion here. Clove of garlic, I'm going to add that in too, and I might have more garlic in the fridge. I want to show you a trick. If you saw the first time I did broccoli soup, I used flour and a little cornstarch to thicken the soup up. However, today I'm going to use potatoes. I got these small white potatoes. The skins are so thin, so we're going to cook those in the vegetable broth. Then I'm going to mash them up to help to thicken the soup up, okay? What else I want to show you? Onion, of course. And also I had these green onions left, so I'm going to dice those up. I may not use all those tops. However, then again, I might just shred them up really fine to add them in. I wanted to show you spice blends. Sometimes you could change the flavor of a soup just by the spices, the herbs that you use in the soup. I've got some organic oregano, I've got basil and thyme, and also sage. I think of sage mostly, or we think of sage mostly as an herb that goes great with poultry and seafoods. Try it in this soup. Don't be afraid to just get out of your comfort zone. And of course I've got salt and pepper, my grinders. So why don't we come back, chop up our veggies, then go to the stovetop and make our soup. Peace. You know what's next. Do I have to say it? Come on, say it with me. Spread love. All right, let's get our ingredients started here. I'm going to take those little potatoes, we're going to just slice them in half, and I'm going to go ahead and cook those in the vegetable broth that's on the stove top, and we'll take those out and mash them later on, okay? Hope my fingers are not blocking you there. Just slicing those in half. For 2 reasons. One, they cook quicker, and also be easier to mash them up. Going to add them to that vegetable broth, then we're going to just allow them to boil. Yeah, I call this veggie love. You know how much I love working with fresh fruits and vegetables. We're going to start with the garlic. Just take the root ends off. You can crush it or chop it, and that's fine. This onion, I'm going to put it back together so I can dice it up in the Charlie Chaplin mode. Now, watch that move. He steps over to the cabinet to pull this bash and chop out. I love that little move. Now, notice 1 carrot, how much we get after we do a nice fine dice on that. 1 carrot, it's almost a cup full of diced carrots that go into our soup. Remember, carrots add a lot of vitamin A, and they also have some sweetness to anything they're cooked with. Wonderful, wonderful sugar there. Next, we'll dice our celery. Take a quick look at those potatoes that are coming along. That's going to help to thicken that soup. Again, this nice fine dice. You get a whole lot out of 3 spears of celery. Now, the last thing I'm going to chop up will be these beautiful green onions. I'm being facetious when I say that because they dried out a little bit. We gave them new life by adding some water to them. Chop them out really fine, even the green part. We'll take a quick peek at that broccoli. Let's go to the stovetop and make our soup. We have all our ingredients prepped up. However, before we start making the soup, I'm going to take and those potatoes that we softened up, that we cooked, we're going to remove those from the vegetable broth and just mash them up so that when we're ready to thicken our broccoli soup with these, it won't take us a time. You see the steam coming out of that? Just remove all those with a slotted spoon. Now that by cooking those potatoes in that broth, it also adds some more texture and thickness to our actual vegetable broth, okay? See how they become almost translucent? They've cooked up, they're nice. And I'm not gonna worry about those skins because, again, they're very thin and they should not affect our soup taste at all. It just adds more character and more texture to it. So let's just mash those up with a fork in that little bowl there. Do I have a fork handy? Yes, I do. And we don't have to really mash them too much, just enough, because it's going to be kind of a lumpy, good soup anyway. We just want that starch in there to help to thicken it. Look at that. Oh, I think I might add a tablespoon of that broth back to it. And we'll just add those to the soup when we are ready to go. How does that look? Now, something that I forgot to mention earlier is that we need some fat, of course. I'm going to use olive oil and butter in making this soup. Now, take a look at that broth. Doesn't that look good? Nice and thick. So, we'll get started here with a bit of olive oil in our pan. I'm going to add maybe a tablespoon of butter to that. You can add the butter at any time. Let's turn that burner on. There we go. That nice and hot. Have my butter here. I have my butter here. Remember, when you add butter to olive oil, it raises the smoking point of the butter. We're going to start with those onions. And notice how when I cut that, just a half an onion, a little more than a quarter of an onion up, how much it yielded when you make a nice small dice like that. We're going to add those in first. I just love that sizzle, that sound you get. Now let those cook for about 2 to 3 minutes in that butter. Before adding our next ingredient, or as my kids would say when they were little boys, "What's the next ingredient, Dad?" I love that story. Curtis Jr. Cole. By the way, the flowers on my set today, got hollyhock and daisies, a couple of roses around too. These all came from my yard. Isn't that gorgeous? I love that little hollyhock there. Gorgeous, gorgeous. All right, we are just about ready for our next ingredient. Oh, wow. I'm gonna add our carrots because they take a little longer to cook, so we'll put those in next. And stir those up. Now here is one of those little beautiful, beautiful cheats that you can add, that you can do. I'm going to add just a bit of my broth, not too much, just enough. That will help soften those carrots up, okay? Start thinking about adding the garlic next. The ancient Egyptians believed garlic gave you strength. So they fed it to the workers that built the Great Pyramids. Ooh, eat garlic, get buffed. Because I have quite a bit of garlic, I'm going to press 2 cloves in. 1. Remember that the oils inside the garlic is really, really where the magic is. However, and there's always exceptions, because of this soup, I want that garlic to be an ingredient as well. So I'm going to crush, just take a couple of pieces and smack them with my knife. And I'm even using the pulp in here because I want that flavor. Let's add our celery next. There's that diced celery. Look how fine that celery diced up there. Again, stir it up, little darling. Gonna add a little more oil to this one. It's getting really nice. And it wouldn't hurt to add a little butter as well. I'm gonna just smack this garlic with a knife off camera here. You don't have to, you know how to do that, right? We're gonna throw it in. There's that smashed garlic. This goes right in there. Gonna add a little more of our broth. Gonna whisk it up. Oh, it smells so good. Gonna add the last of our garlic. All those garlic cloves go in there. And we can add some of our herbs. That's the oregano. We're going to add some basil. Some thyme. And you don't want to forget salt and pepper. Oh, I'm going to add that sage as well, okay? Sage, fresh dried sage in there. It's not shaking out so well. And notice I'm just leaving it, letting it simmer. I want those vegetables to cook, really cook well. Nice dose batch of sage. Pardon my reach while I grab my salt and pepper grinder. And of course, salt and pepper is always to taste, so you can add more or little. Now we're going to add our broth. That vegetable broth. I'm going to add another cup of broth. That's like 3 cups of broth. And I'm going to add 2 cups of water here. We're going to let this come to a boil. And we're going to lower it and allow it to simmer. And while that's happening, I'm going to do a little house cleaning or kitchen cleaning. And then we'll come back, add our potatoes, the broccoli, those green onions. We'll give it our first test for taste, or taste test. Spread love, y'all. Our soup is coming along, bubbling nicely. Gonna reduce that to a simmer and talk about the last few things to go in. Our potatoes, we're gonna add those and just stir them right in there. I'll whisk them in, whichever I need to do to see what I've got handy. Get all of those in. Again, I'm making a broccoli soup without the cream today. Lisa's not feeling so great, so I didn't want to make a creamy soup. No, she does not have COVID. She's just not feeling her wonderful, perky, beautiful self. So I thought I'd make my baby some soup. And sometimes when you use cream, you know, some people, it can make them a bit mucusy. I don't want to take that chance with with Lisa today. So we're going to make this soup without cream today. There's a little bit of butter in there, but not too much. Now, we've got 2 more ingredients to go, starting with that beautiful broccoli. Now, that's the cooked broccoli. So what I've done here, when I'm not going to use the blender in the soup, it's going to be kind of a chunky soup. So what I'm going to do is just take a butter knife before adding it to the pot and just kind of break the pieces up because they're already cooked, so they should cut easily. You see how that knife just slips right through there? And then we can put those pieces in, and I really like those nice hunks of broccoli stalk there. Of course, you could turn this out onto your cutting board and do it that way. Oh, why though? We're gonna do it like so. I'm gonna drop my broccoli right into the soup pot. And this should be done in about 10, 15 minutes at the most. Are you ready to taste some broccoli soup? That leftover broccoli from last night's dinner or a couple of days ago, fear not, we have ideas for you. Yeah, I've taken it over to the cutting board. We're just going to throw it in like so. I want to make sure I use those big stems. See those gorgeous stems right there? I don't want to lose those. This broccoli is so good. Remember, fresh vegetables, I want you to cook them within 3 days. If they're left over, go ahead and make soups like so. Okay. All right, we're gonna come back and finish up our soup. Maybe even taste a bit. Woo, look at that, looky. Here comes Cookie. Happy birthday, Cookie Map. My niece Cookie's birthday. Well, it was really yesterday, but. All right, her name is really Andrea Map. She's Hannah's mama, Antonio's mama, Regina's only daughter, only child. There we go. Last broccoli goes in there. Again, those of you that like cream, you can add cream. However, this time we're not doing it because my baby is not feeling great. Those green onions, tops and bottoms. Remember, green onions don't take that long to cook. However, they add a lot of flavor to when you whip them into dishes. There we go. So when we come back, we'll check for seasoning. I'm going to bring this back up to a boil, and this soup should be ready to rock. Peace. You know what's next? Spread love. I'm going to give away my age here by saying, surprise, surprise, surprise. That's from Gomer Pyle. I was just thinking about my mother. She used to love watching Mayberry RFD or whatever it was, and Andy Griffin and Gomer Pyle, all those shows. Well, the surprise is that Lisa heard me sharing with you that I was not going to make it creamy because I was worried about her becoming mucusy. She says, oh, honey, I thought it was going to be creamy. So we're going to change that plan, okay? We're going to make it creamy. So what I've got here is about half a cup of heavy cream. I've got a ladle, of course, and a little bowl here. So what I'm going to do is just add our cream to this large bowl, and we're going to temper this cream with by ladling in some of the broth along with the vegetables before we add it to the soup. This way it won't curdle up, so just a little at a time. It will bring that temperature of that cream up. Okay, just a little. And then we're going to add some of the vegetables here, and we're going to whisk them up with our handheld blender, okay? And we'll add that back in. That way we get the best of both worlds. We get creamy and chunky. Does that work for you, Lisa?
Yay.
Y'all hear my baby? She's not feeling her normal, gorgeous, super self. However, let's hope this soup will get her there, okay? Now tilt it away from you so as not to have it splash back up on you. I'm going to get more of this broccoli in here as well. So ladle up some of the broccoli florets in there, and that way we can have that nice creamy broccoli soup. Notice I'm doing it right over the top of the soup, just in case. Whoops! Just got it all over my shirt there because I tilted it back. Well, Lisa's gonna be mad at me because she's gonna have to clean this shirt up. Honey, you okay with my shirt? Got a little broccoli soup on it. And we're gonna add that back in, and we're going to do what we do. Butter to that to give it a little more creaminess, and we are ready to serve up our broccoli soup after I do a little self-cleaning this time. Peace, you know what's next. For taste for time. This has been a lot of fun. It's interesting when your baby says she wants something, you try to get it for her, right? So there's that. I'll give you a shot of the soup coming in here. I'm going to just take a little spoonful out. It's quite hot, y'all. So, yeah, that's a good one. Add that cheddar cheese to it and the cream that Lisa wanted. Those chunks of broccoli. It's good stuff. Bon appetit. Ready for some, honey? Okay, Facebook friends, this is my new me, my new emoji. My niece Hannah taught me to make this. She's 13 going on entry to MIT. The kid is smart. All right, y'all, so if you're in the New York area this weekend, come see me cook at the Botanical Gardens. Peace. Hey y'all, I'm backstage here at the Botanical Gardens getting ready to do my recipe from my cookbook, the ABC soup. Here are the ingredients. We got them all laid out. I'm going to prep them up. Carrot, tomatoes, peppers, onions, and all that, okay? So come back to me when we're going to go on stage. Holla. Yankees fan. Me too. But they lost, so I'm a Yankees fan. Seriously, I have two favorite teams. The Braves and thank you very much. Thank you very much. Right. We're going to have fun today. In my kitchen, there's only two rules, right? One is smile, and the other is to have fun. Okay? Oh, Veronica, where are you? Are you going to introduce me? Because I'm talking and they don't know who I am. And who else is going to help you? Felicia and Anna and where's Gianna?